Here we are after today's game with Bristol United manager John Gilbertson. We were away today at Axbridge in the Somerset Cup, and the final result, we lost 4-2. John, give us your thoughts on the game.
It was a good game today. Our game, which was you knew going into it was going to be a tough game for us. Bit of a damp squid of a first half really from us. We was 3-0 down around about 40 minutes in, and the side never really got into it. We never really got going. Tried a sort of a new formation today, and I felt it just needs a bit more work, which didn't help us. The pitch, again, I'm going to sound like a typical manager now, but the pitch was awful today, bobbly, still frozen underneath, and everybody was slipping. That certainly didn't help with the conditions, but we never really got going in the first half. We was lucky that we got a goal back on the more or less the stroke of half time with Josh Gilbertson, made it 3-1. So all of a sudden the team talk at half time changes the all sort of dynamics of it. And all I asked the players really was we changed formation and sort of went back to a more familiar formation for us. But the attitudes changed second half, and we come out and pretty much got another goal back to make it 3-2 with again Josh Gilbertson getting a goal, and it was game on. And I thought it was a matter of time before we went on and got a sort of third goal in probably and drew sort of the tie, and then I believe at that point then coming back we'd have been in with a good chance of winning it. But they went up and had a dubious penalty. And it sort of took everything out of us then to go 4-2 down. And it's one of those games. I mean, I was pleased with their effort, with the lads. Poor conditions, poor pitch, and it is what it is. I mean, we're out of the cup now and then back on to concentrating on our league campaign now.
Yeah, and following on, obviously, you saying about the changing in formation and getting back into the game second half. Even without maybe the quality we know we got, how much resilience do you think the lads showed today? Because at 3-0, it's easy to, us of old, even us of old would capitulate and that becomes 6 or 7, but they stuck with it, and, from the side, even at 3-0 down, they stayed in the game, and we were still in the game. So they showed great resilience on that, didn't they?
It is, and it's something I'm pleased with the team, and what we got, which I always say on whether it's blogs or interviews, whatever it is, we got goals in us. Even if we're playing poorly and we're getting battered and outnumbered and outfought, we still got goals in us. With the players we got, hitting teams on the break, hitting teams with fast pace, we have got goals in us, and I felt it was important for the team today to stay in it, which they did. I mean, they'd scored a wonder goal themselves, which is like a bit of a great goal, but a freak you don't often see at this level. But we've stayed in the game, and typically then we've got ourselves back in it with a goal, and then it all changes. But I feels a bit sorry for the lads. I think they're a bit hard done by with today's defeat. And I over the all game, I think we probably did the right team's gone through, but a 4-2 defeat suggests like a bit of a one-sided game to an extent, and it was a lot closer than that. I do feel sorry for the lads, but probably overall, they said that probably the right team went through.
Yeah, and obviously we're not a club to go on about referees and decisions that go against us, but like you said, it's a very, very dubious penalty that's awarded, and at any level of football, especially cup football, momentum's massive, and once that's given, how difficult does that then make the last sort of 15 minutes to go again?
Well, it did, and it killed us. It killed the game to an extent. And I've said to my players, you've got to get used to this. Sometimes you could be on a counter-attack, and it can't sort of cut us in half and end the game. But I understand where it takes the wind out of ourselves. We're very much sort of up for coming back to a 3-3, and then all of a sudden, not only was it just the fourth goal, which opens a 2-goal gap, it's the manner of letting the goal in. And me as a manager in the club, I'm not one for sort of attacking refs or anything or decisions, because what happens. The only thing I certainly felt was harsh was the ref. I mean, he's give the penalty, although there's a handball. The only part for me, if that was the decision and it goes against us, so be it. They're trying their best to do the decisions. The only thing what I asked the ref at the end he's thought he's give the penalty for a tackle, which was a penalty, but in the build-up to that, there's a handball. And he's come over and he wasn't sure, so he's asked the linesman. The linesman's give the decision that is a handball. And then he still overrode it and give the penalty, which I think that's what took the wind out of us today, the players, which I said from a management point of view, it can, but I understand it does, and it changes the game and it takes the pressure off of them because we were starting to get right on top. But it's football. We got all that ain't just the sole reason we've lost today. Can we be sharper on some of the defending aspects? Can we be sharper in scoring some? That has contributed why we've lost as well. So it's not just one decision, but it is always a hard one to take. But I'm not a fan of blaming refs. We have to look at ourselves. But it was a bit of a weird decision and incident today.
So looking on the 90 minutes as a whole, obviously like you've already covered, tough conditions and probably a game of two halves.
Yeah.
Was there anyone in particular today that stood out to you that sort of rose to the challenge and give us a positive to take forward?
I mean, the positive is the whole team to come back 3-0 down in a game which looks dead and buried and we're not playing great in, to come back and be in a position where we're pushing for an equaliser. That's all positive for the team. Nobody really stood out individually. I mean, Josh got 2 goals again, which is always good for a striker. Tom Blake worked his socks off today and a lot of unselfless sort of hard work in running. But nobody sort of really jumped out in terms of outstanding performance. But collectively as a team, I'm pleased with them. I said the circumstances that could have easily rolled over and been 5 or 6-0. But to come back in and then really be pushing for an equaliser and then to get sort of done then with a penalty is what it is. But I'm pleased with the whole team as collectively.
So it seems like an age ago now, going back to the video where we spoke about the not great start to the season, the reset required, and since then the form's been brilliant. Obviously that undefeated run coming to an end today in the cup, and it's disappointing to go out of the cup, of course, because everyone loves a cup run. But
yeah,
how do you think this now sets us up and shows us where we are heading into the, a very busy end to the season and where we can aim for and achieve by the end of the year?
I think it's an easy one for me as a manager and the club and the players, more importantly, to sort of ignore this defeat today because it's a cup. If it's a league game, it sort of puts the end to our run. In the league, we're 1-6 out of 7, and we sort of still take that forward, and that'll be the message for the players for the game Saturday. What's coming up? What's going to be another tough game? So nobody wants to lose. I don't want to lose, but it's one of those. It's easier to dismiss it and put it to one side. We're in a tough cup with a lot of top teams. We know this is going to be a struggle to do well in this cup. We're not playing teams at our level. So it is an easier one to move on from than if this today was a league defeat. So it's just looking at the positives and moving on, ready for the next league game now.
Perfect. Well, thanks for your time, John. I think that's the game for today covered, and we'll see you on the next one. Up the box.